Does your mixer have a graphic EQ but you don't know how it works? In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how it works. Shalom to you, my friends. My name is Isaac from Trego Studios. On this channel, we train media volunteers to become well-equipped as they render their service to God through the media. If this sounds like you, I want you to consider subscribing to this channel and click the notification bell so that you can be notified each time we post a new video on this channel. So without further ado, let's get started. So like I said at the beginning of this video, today's video is about showing you how to use the graphic EQ on your mixer. As a sound engineer in church, understanding what EQ means and how to set the various parameters of an EQ can make a huge difference in your live production. And when we're talking about EQ, one basic term you must understand is frequency, because in EQ, basically what we're adjusting is the volume of different frequencies or range of frequencies within an audio signal. Now, if what I've just explained still sounds complicated to you, I'm going to break it down for you to understand. Now, when you hear sound, everything you hear falls under the range of a particular frequency or range of frequencies, right? Now, let me give you a practical example. Now, say you have your main speakers, the top and the woofers. Now, you will notice that when you want to hear your bass guitar, you tend to hear much of the bass guitar from the woofers. And when you want to hear your high-pitched instrument like the soprano sax, you notice that you can hear that on the top speakers and not much on the woofers. Now, the reason for this is because of the range of frequencies that each of these instruments occupies, alright? So a bass guitar tends to occupy more of the low-end frequencies, while a high-pitched instrument like the soprano sax tends to, occupy the high-range frequency. Generally, it is said that human ears can perceive sounds as low as 20 Hz to sounds as high as 20,000 Hertz or 20 kilohertz. Alright, now Hertz is the unit of measurement for frequency. Alright, now the lower the value of the frequency, the more bassy it tends to be, and the higher the frequency, the more high pitched that particular sound tends to be. So when you talk of bass equipment like the bass guitar, the trombones, any low equipment, or your talking drum, those are low frequency equipment. Now, those instruments tend to occupy the low frequency, and your high-pitched equipment tends to occupy the high frequency. So any sound you hear generally ranges from the low frequency to the high frequency. Alright, so when you talk of your bass equipment, they tend to occupy more of the low frequencies, and when you talk of your high-pitched instruments, they tend to occupy much of the high range of frequencies. Alright, so when you have a graphic EQ function on your mixer, or you have an external equalizer that you connect to your setup, alright, so what EQ basically does is that you are adjusting the volume of particular frequencies or set of frequencies or range of frequencies. Alright, so when you raise the slider up above the zero mark, then you are boosting that particular frequency. That is, you're increasing the volume of that particular frequency. And when you pull down the slider, then that means you are actually cutting off that frequency from that particular audio signal, or in other words, you are reducing the volume of that particular frequency. Now, before you pull any slider up or down, you need to know what frequency that particular slider is meant for. So you need to identify, the range of frequencies that your EQ, your graphic EQ, can control. Is going to be labeled on that particular mixer or external equalizer. Now, if you check the mixer I'm going to be using to demonstrate, you notice that there are specific frequencies that each of these sliders operate. So you should check your equalizer and note what particular frequency they are adjusting. Alright, so now that you know what an EQ does, how are you going to use this great tool to your advantage to make your production sound better and make everyone in the congregation to enjoy your mix? I'm going to be demonstrating by playing a song on this particular mixer, and I'm going to be using the graphic EQ on my mixer. But you should note that the same process also goes if you have an external equalizer that is attached to your sound system. The same rules that I'm going to explain to you applies to all equalizer, graphic equalizers, wherever I come in contact with them. Either it is on board, that is on the mixer, it could even be in digital form and not like a an artboard gear like this, and it could be an external, equalizer gear that is attached to your sound system. The principles are actually the same, so follow along. Another thing you should also note is that this graphic EQ on this particular mixer does not control a particular channel that is entering into your mix. It affects the entire mix of the song, that is all the channels coupled together which you have mixed through the faders. So this graphic EQ is going to affect the mix as a whole. Alright, so it's not as if it's affecting a vocal or it's affecting a particular instrument. Now, the effects might be more pronounced on some channels than others, depending on the range or frequency of that instrument or the vocals. But this graphic EQ is actually shaping your entire mix. Alright, I would also advise that you use your headphone as I demonstrate this on this mixer, so that you'll be able to track the changes that occurs as I push up or pull down the sliders. Alright, now before you can make any adjustment, the first thing you have to know is what do you want to achieve. All right, don't just pull the sliders up and down because you see people doing it, or there's a formula they say you should, the way you should arrange it. All right, so don't just pull things up or down. Now the first thing is know what you want to achieve. Now you must know how does your mix sound presently and how do you want it to sound. Now, if you have an idea of how you want it to sound, then you'll be able to make deliberate decisions, or you'll be able to track your progress as you're pulling the slider to know if it is effective to achieve what you're actually looking for. Probably what you want to achieve is not going to be solved using the EQ. So if you have the right picture of what you actually want to achieve, it's going to help you in making the right decisions as you adjust the sliders. Alright, so and for you to make right decisions, then you need to know which frequency or range of frequencies affect what you are hearing or what you want to hear. Do you understand? So it's possible that you don't like the way your guitar sounds, or your guitar is not coming out very well, or a particular instrument, your vocals, is not bright enough. You want to adjust some particular things. So you need to know where these frequencies that you want to adjust, where they actually lie. Alright, so I told you that different instruments and vocals have different range of frequencies. Even the range of frequency of a male voice is different from the range of frequency of a female voice. Alright, so you need to know the specifics. You can Google it to know the range of frequency of your particular instrument, so that you can know which parts to adjust. For instance, now if I want to get more of the bass from this mix, I'm going to come to the left side of the EQ, which consists of the low frequencies. Alright, so I'm going to be making this adjustment gradually to achieve what I want. If I'm not sure exactly which frequency is going to affect what I want to hear, I'm going to take them one after the other, increase it to see if it gives me what I want. If it's not what I want, I drop it back. If I find what makes it better, if this is what I like better, I'm going to slide that up as well. So if not, I'm going to slide it down. Alright, and if I want to make adjustments on the high end as well, I'm going to slide those frequencies one after the other to know if this is what I actually want. That is if I'm not sure specifically of the frequency that's going to give me what I want. Alright, so sometimes you might not be certain. You can just know that what I want to adjust is going to be on the high end, or what I want to adjust is going to be on the low end frequencies. Alright, so when you're thinking of anything bass, you're thinking of the low frequencies, and when you're thinking of anything high, bright presence, you're thinking of the high frequencies, and that is where you're going to adjust accordingly. Another tip that is going to help you as you adjust the sliders on your EQ is to cut first before boosting. I've said this in some of my videos, that it is better to cut first before boosting. What does that mean? If you have something in your mind that you want to achieve, which is the first point that I mentioned, if you have something in your head that you want to achieve, now instead of looking for the frequencies that will help you get there, why not first think of the frequencies that are affecting you from getting that particular goal you have in your mind? So say for instance, you want to get a bright mix, a clean mix. Instead of boosting the high ends that can make it bright, why not look for those frequencies that makes it sound muddy, and then pull those frequencies down. So when you find the frequency that affects your mix, then you pull it down before considering boosting. If after cutting the unwanted frequencies and you still want to embellish it, then you can do a little bit of boosting from that particular frequency where you need it. Now, because if you have to start boosting because you want bass, you boost it. You want your voice to sound bright, you boost it. You want something to be present, you boost it. You want your guitar to come through, you boost the frequency of the guitar. If you keep boosting like that, eventually you might find yourself coming back to the same point that you started. It might even be worse actually, because you're going to increase the trouble in volume. Remember that these sliders, they're actually volume controls of particular frequencies. So if you eventually have to raise all of these frequencies, in volume, then it just means that you have just increased your problem by volume and not solved it in any way. All right, so you need to be careful. So it's better to always cut what you don't want first before considering boosting, and sometimes just after cutting you get exactly what you want. The third tip I'm going to give you is there is no specific rule that fits every circumstances or every situation. Now, because different equipment have different frequency response, and the frequency response is also affected by your venue, your location, your equipment. Different things affect the frequency. So don't just copy formulas and say, oh, boost your high, cut your lows, and then do that in every situation. No. You have to make decisions based on what you hear. So your ears are your best judge when you're making this decision. Just know what you are listening to and what you want. Know what you want. So when you know what you want, you'll be able to adjust the EQ accordingly to get what you want. All right, so trust your ears in the process as you adjust this EQ. Don't just do it by formula, and don't just do it ignorantly. Do it based on what you are hearing. So when you boost a particular frequency, does it make it better or it makes it worse? All right, so if you're not sure whether it makes it better or not, it's better you just return back to its original position. Now, but if boosting makes it sound better, then just have a little boost. And if you cut off any particular frequency and you see a difference that makes your mix better, then pull it down. Just trust your ears. Now, when you learn to use your ears to make EQ judgments, you are going to master the use of EQ in any situation at any given time. Yeah, so finally I've come to the end of this video. Thank you guys for staying to the end of this video. Thank you for sticking around. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe, especially if you are a media volunteer in your church and you would like to improve your skills in audio production, video production, graphics design, social media, anything that can help your church to spread the gospel through the media. That's what we do on this channel. So consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified the next time we post our videos. All right, so thank you for staying to the end of this video. So I come your way next time with a new video. Remain in the Lord's service. God bless you.